Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, breaker of the 7 seals. Welcome. Sisters and brothers, for you who are not aware of the Holocaust, you should be. If you're original, you went through it. 500 years of terror. They're trying to deny it, keep you from being informed about it. Soft pellet calling it slavery. Critical race theory is theoretical. Well, brothers and sisters, you're going to find out the truth. Like they say, the truth. Know the truth. Truth will make you free. You'll know in a few more days, because what you see transpiring in the next few days, the next year or so, will be the Holocaust replayed. 500 years of Holocaust replayed in 1 year, but the characters are going to be reversed. The characters are going to be reversed. That's the difference. And so, if the perpetrators of the Holocaust did nothing, they was good people, angels, angelic, then they have nothing to worry about, because we're going to be angels, angelic towards them. Consequence. So we'll see what's the truth and what's the lie. Be played out, because consequence is written in the universe in indelible ink. Can't get rid of it. It only goes away once the balance, the justice has been done, then it goes away. You reap what you sow. Consequence. Every action has opposite reaction. The reaction stays in indelible ink until it's resolved, and then it goes away. So we'll see. Playback. Anyway, brothers and sisters, we're going to talk about the Levite dilemma. Now, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for many years, but it's very advanced. And before you could talk about it in very comprehensive, intelligible, what's the word I want to use? Well, anyway, in a very intelligent, clear way, you have to need some background. So I've been giving you some background in the last few days. Those who've been following it, you may be able to follow this, because it's very complicated. And you really need to know something about the angel to really appreciate it. Right? So we're going to talk about this story of Joseph. See, I haven't talked about that. I've touched on it here and there, but that's a very powerful story that you don't appreciate, that you don't understand it, because Farrakhan's using that story. That's his baseline story to prove that we're not going anywhere, that we're going to inherit America. See, it's a lie. But he relies on you not going in and studying and looking to see what it really says. Because you're looking at, oh, well, we're going to take over America. We're going to rule America, the land that we was. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from the Joseph story. We're going to rule the land that we was in prison in. That's where they're getting that from. Joseph's story. That's where they're getting that from. It's a lie. And they only give you part of the story. And it's a very complicated story. That I'm going to try to explain it in the simplest detail as I can, the shortest period of time as I can, because it will take quite a bit of time to really go in and break this down 100%. And I'm not going to do that. But it's every bit a Levite story too. And those Levites, I personally don't know why Dr. Shabazz even allowed them to become a part of our tribe. Because our interface with the Levites been nothing but trouble from start to finish. Start to finish. They never complete their mission. You always see what the after effect is. And you see, Jonah was against them. The Master Muhammad, he's the one that looks out for them. And so that's the conflict. That's the only conflict they had about those Levites. And in every instance, Jonah proved to be right. But it's out of Master Muhammad's love and mercy that he covers for them. But I don't think that's going to last much longer. I don't think that's going to last much longer. See? Because if we read the scriptures clearly, it doesn't last. Because see, there's two things about the scriptures. See, something I very seldom talk about, but there's two paths. There's the scriptures that says what could be, what is. So it's two paths. If you do this, this will happen. It's like in the 7 churches. Those who overcome, you have to overcome to receive that blessing. It's not right unconditional. You have the conditional prophecies, the conditional scripture. If you do this, in Nineveh, if you repent, this will happen. They don't understand, they don't get that. That's the story you have Joseph and Belshazzar. Joseph and Belteshazzar. Because it's the same story. It's just what happens is two paths. If you go to Belteshazzar path, Babylon was destroyed 2015. Because it Darius destroyed Babylon while Obama was in president. But that's the one that Jonah got in trouble with Master Muhammad about, because he didn't want to warn them. Because he said, no, you're not going to do that. And he didn't do it. And then the Joseph path, which means they'll be destroyed within 12 months. Currently, that's where we are right now. So it was the conditional. We have a lot of those conditions, like the story of Adam and Eve. Conditional. They had a plan, the Master Muhammad had a plan. Either go this way or that way. See? People understand that. Like I said, so much that I can talk about, but it's just me. And it says he looked and he saw there's no one to help. A lot of pretenders. It's conditional. And Levites, they were born in. Because of course, scripture, they lost their birth. I'm not going into that kind of detail. But they was born. They wanted to be in, and so they was accepted in. They was as a priest tribe, and they was supposed to assist the tribe of Shabazz, but they never do. They always fail. They look out for each other to some extent, but they always fail when it comes to the tribe of Shabazz. Let's go back to Esau, for instance. He was a Levite. Daniel tells you Levite, but look what he left behind. It's a mess here. All these Christians that supposed to be followers of his, look what they're doing. Now we can't put that responsibility on him, or can we? I mean, did he fail in his ministry teaching somehow? He make it not clear. Because they're doing all that evil Holocaust towards us based on what they said he taught. They're doing it in his name. Take Prophet Muhammad, another Levite. Okay. Look at his followers, what they do in his name. He said he wouldn't even recognize himself. So you got a mess on the Christian level, you got a mess on the Sunni level. Both left messes behind. And then we go to Elijah, currently. Look what all study doing in his name. So how do we benefit from any? We haven't benefited personally from any of those three. The tribe of Shabazz has not benefited from any of those three. And on top of that, Elijah was supposed to be set the bridge, right, to tribe of Shabazz, and he didn't do it. And so you have a conditional prophecy concerning him, because one says he would be the throne of Master Muhammad, and he'd be king of what you call Africa now. See? And the other one says, no, he wasn't allowed to even go to the promised land because he failed in his mission. We're going to talk about that. So it's conditional. You have two paths. They're not contradictory. There's two paths. Because if he had made a transfer, like it says in Malachi, to some addition to Joshua or Suleiman, this would never happen, because Suleiman would never let the demons they would never got a foothold in anything. None of this would ever happen. The transition was made clear, and the nation of Islam would never fail. Didn't fall, it was cast down, because he didn't fulfill his mission. Master Muhammad taught him he's supposed to transfer to the messenger of the covenant, who was present and ready to receive the baton, so to speak, but he didn't give it to him. Instead, the demons take over. So now, all the works that Master Muhammad did here is up in smoke. He's not made. They say Nation of Islam wouldn't be Nation of Islam. Muhammad's Nation of Islam does not exist in name only. Only one reviving what Master Muhammad did is Suleiman. He's teaching what Master Muhammad taught. He's backing up everything Master Muhammad taught. Not the lion Farrakhan. He's a demon. He filled the church up with demons. So everything Elijah did, up in smoke. Everything Master Muhammad did here, up in smoke. Because Elijah didn't make the pass the information on to the messenger of the covenant. Was right there. He's supposed to pass on the messenger of the covenant. He did not. So everything. So what was the benefit? What do we benefit today from Master Muhammad showing up here, Elijah Muhammad showing up? How do we benefit from that at all? There's no benefit. We got nothing to show for it, except Lion Farrakhan, who spits on everything Master Muhammad taught and Elijah Muhammad taught. So their works was in vain, moot. Elijah's doing great man, but he didn't make the transition. He failed at the finish line. Prophet Muhammad, Isa, all three areas, total mess. That's what we're dealing with. And that says what Suleiman had to come in and deal with. He got to deal with all three of those messes. The Christians ain't did accept him. They reject him. They have no idea. They got some pictures of white Jesus up there somewhere. The Sunnis, they got some mysterious God they're looking at. And so-called Nation of Islam, they definitely supposed to be on the case, and they think Farrakhan's the one, and he can't even walk. See, the Levite enigma, and then they're told to be three in Daniel's presence, two active. What are they doing? Nothing. Those Levites, you can't depend on them. I don't know why Master Muhammad supports them. I don't know why Dr. Shabazz brought him in, because to date, I do not see any benefit from them being a part of us. And they better read the seven chapters again, because they only get into the ark if they overcome. If they overcome. And they're not overcoming as far as I'm concerned. I don't see them in the ark. And I'm the one that packs the ark. Now, Master Muhammad, he receives it, I pack it. He just closed the door. And right now, I don't see him going in there. See, I see him going to tribulation. I see him going to tribulation. Because they push mobiles. You push and they move. And what's the problem with push mobiles? See, one of the things to understand in mathematics behind it, if you're pushing something, it's only moving because of your energy. Because your energy, that means your energy. But the point is, they take what the people see is the face, their face. So they get the credit for your effort. Because you're supplying energy, because how do you know? Because if you stop pushing, they stop moving. That means you're supplying energy, but people see their face. So they get the credit. Right? But you're doing the work. See? That's basic mathematics. See, Elijah Muhammad, all the Levites were push mobiles. He pushed them. But when he stopped pushing them, they stopped. In fact, now they turn around and reverse on them. I'm not going down that path. I don't want to be dealing with the Levites at all. The scientists say deal with them. Master Muhammad said deal with them. Elijah said, I said deal with them. I said I don't want to deal with them, because my experience with Levites has been totally negative. I mean, I've been ripped off by them, and it's been 3 years in Demon Island because of them. I spent a whole year over there because Master Muhammad wanted me to go and talk to them, and that was a total disaster because they didn't reject it. Now it's been 2 years, over 2 years teaching 2 of them. Waste of time. Waste of time. So I keep saying, why am I wasting my time like that? There's no cost benefit. There's no added benefit. There's none. The Quran and Bible tell you always to try the people. Elijah Muhammad tried people. I try people, and then most time they don't understand. I'm trying them. You can easily test most. You can easily test a push mobile. Just stop pushing it. You see what happens. If they keep moving, that means they was moving on their own. But if they pause, that means they're not moving because you stop pushing. And if you explain that to them, they have all excuses. Oh man, I was sick, or I was getting ready. I was just, getting ready to, to take off. Man, I had to put some things together. Man, I was just, that's bullshit. If you stop, when you stop pushing, you say everyone will say that means you wasn't moving. You wasn't moving on your own. That means you was wasting somebody's time, wasting my energy. Because you're giving the quality to my energy. That's what devils are doing. They're giving the quality to our energy, and that's what they're doing. They're giving quality, because the quality they're giving is how they expressing your energy. Because you're the one pushing them. They're not putting their energy into it. Energy they put into it is how they portraying your energy. So if people see their face, so if they making mistakes, they doing all kinds of stuff, that reflects back on you. But you the one supplying energy. Who needs that? See, one of the things is people don't understand these demons, these Negro buds, and these Levites and everything. They got the top scientists on the scene now. They never seen anything like this before. The top scientists, not only on the public. Few people ever see a 25th scientist. Few people ever see a 24th scientist, for that matter. Just don't come out in public. Only scientist they ever actually in public is the one who's ruling for that period, that 6,000 year period of time, that season. Most time you don't see the scientists. You might see them, you don't recognize them. And they have no idea what the scientists know. As the Quran says, right, the elevated place, they know all by their marks. So you can't fool them. There are all kinds of ways to see through you. You don't have to tune in. And I'm not going to let anybody waste my time anymore. I've wasted a lot of time. I waited over 6 years to deal with these Levites. That's 6 years that I can be focusing totally on raising Lazarus. Because that's my mission. That's my mission from now on. Master Muhammad wants to deal with Levites, that's him. He got him. It's all his, not mine. I'm not going to take no responsibility for that anymore. My responsibility, my mission. As far as talking to them about preparing them for the hereafter, I mean, not for the hereafter, for the tribulation period, I don't know if I even want to do that now. I'm through with those, the Levites. I'm through with them. Because there's no benefit. I don't see any benefit from anything they've done. How is the world benefiting right now from anything they've done? How is the world benefiting right now from anything they have done? In fact, you might argue that the world's in worse shape. You know, when you go look at Sunnism and look at the Christians, right, you find out that the Christians doing exactly what Sunnis was doing, only they put it on a racist level. They were doing it on a religious level, doing the same thing, raping, taking people's land, everything else, but they were doing it on the religious flag. So the Europeans doing it under, or the Christians, they're doing under, right, under a racist flag. Same thing. Well, I have to say that Europeans, they put a little extra oomph in their thing, because as soon as they come in, I get that to them. They didn't come anywhere close to the Holocaust, but they set the predicate for it, foundation for it. See, they were just religion. If you was Sunni, okay. If you weren't Sunni, you was nothing. And even the Jews say the same thing. You was golem or whatever. If you wasn't, they're on a religious basis too. But they combine religious and racist. They combined the two. Sunnis just took to religious. Well, they had a little racist in it too, because right now, you know, you got some of the most racist people in the world right now. Those light-skinned Arabs, Sunnis. Because they come over here, and they know they are half brothers, and they know they sold us into slavery. Okay. And they'll come over here, and you're Muslim. They don't like you're Muslim. They don't like you're Islam, right? But they will accept a Christian over you, and they're going, a white Christian, they go and party with them, house and eat with them, and everything else, and they want to say boo to you. What is that? That's not religion. That's racism there. We don't care. We're going to move on, brothers and sisters. I want to go into, there's a lot of things I want to cover here, but I'm going to try to cover it briefly as possible. I want to talk about this story of Joseph. Now, it's going to be difficult to keep up with, so you have to study if you want to understand what it means, because that's it. My target is these demons, and I'm about to they're about to be finished, because anybody can see this world is blowing up any minute now. I mean, every time you look, it's hotter and hotter and hotter. How can it get before it boils? I know they said, I didn't say on the news, the India and China go join the SRC pack or something, SRO pack or something like that. I said 30 years ago that China and India is going to be allied together against America. Oh man, China, India, they're always fighting on the border stuff. They pulled their troops off the border. They're not in conflict on the border anymore. Watch the weather, Farrakhan. You keep watching the weather. See? And then Iran is supposed to join the pack too. So now, here you go. Middle East, Europe, and Asia. That's why I said it would be going to take Middle East and ignite it, right? It's going to set Europe ablaze and turn Asia into an inferno that's going to cook, boil, broil, or whatever you want America, this whole Western Hemisphere. The Levites and Nego. Let's go into this. Okay, this is the angel key. So I warn people, they don't know me. And I've been very patient. What patient did I need to be? Very patient to get this message out. But I don't need people in my way. I don't want people slowing me down. I don't need that. If you're not added value, then what good are you? You're pushmobile. Pushmobiles are fine for exercise, but if you're trying to get somewhere, you can't use a pushmobile. So this is the basic key here. So I just want to have some familiarity for those who want to study. Let's move on here. Now I'm going to talk about, I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, because these are the seed of Jacob. Now Jacob is the one that inherits. I tried to explain that this week, or the last 7 days. Jacob is the one that actually gets inheritance. That's us. Now he had these sons. Reuben, that's one. Simeon, that's another. That's two. See? He had 12 sons. Party brother said, like I said, I got two sisters running here. Judah, that's three. 3 sons so far. We'll look them up. Zebulon, that's 4. Issachar, that's 5. Dan, that's 6. Gad, that's 7. Asher, that's 8. 8 so far. 8 so far, if I didn't miscount. 8 sons. Naphtali, 9. Joseph, 10. Oh, I missed one. Let me back up. It's really 11, because we gotta go back here. Right there, Simeon and Levi. Right? See? That makes it. Oh, I lost my count. Okay, let's go back, both sisters. Lost my count. We won't get this exactly right. See? And that's important too, because it connects Levite as a second brother. It has 2 brothers there. That's very important. Remember, this whole thing is coded. This whole thing is coded, brothers and sisters. Reuben, okay. Let's go back. I don't want to lose count here, because we're going to have to do some figuring out, cipher some things. Okay, Reuben, Simeon, and Levi. That's 3. Levi, the Levites, and Simeon, see, they're brothers. That's important. They put the 2 together like that. So don't want to like that. That's 3 all together right there. 3. 4. Judah makes 4. Zebulon 5. Issachar 6. Dan 7. Gad 8. Asher 9. That's 9 so far. Naphtali is 10. Joseph 11. It's 11 so far. And then last should be Benjamin. And then Benjamin. That's 12 altogether. So Joseph has 11 brothers, 12 altogether. These came from Jacob. Now Jacob is the one doing the inheritance. Remember that. So it's going to be complicated, but if you study it closely, you have some knowledge of angel, you'll get it, right? Remember that Joseph is the one that actually He's the one. He's Suleiman. See, because he's only one that could break these. See, him and Daniel, only ones that could break these seals. And they both get this gold necklace at the end. So in other words, that was the two paths I said. You go to the path of Joseph, or you go to the path of Belteshazzar. But apparently we go to the path of Joseph. See, but in other words, that's what happened. Excuse me. Hold on, bro. I want to bring anything from my throat. If Nineveh repent, it will go this way. If it didn't repent, go that way. But we know Barack Obama was criticized because he's supposed to be repenting from, and that pissed me off because if Nineveh repent, then we'll go the other path. Then he's around repenting. Remember, the Republicans wanted to say, "Why you repent on it?" Anyway, that's another story, brothers and sisters. That's why I didn't want to have nothing to do with that mess. Ended up being on 3 years on Demon Island because of it. Those Levites, boy. Ooh. Okay, Joseph, 11 brothers, 12 altogether. Now you have to understand the little key. I'm trying to push a little backwards because I'm back into this thing here. Am I losing my? What's going on with my? Wow. I may check that. Okay. I'm going this backward approach here because I'm trying to put this in a way that you can understand it. Okay. Hopefully. So if you count this out, see, because really I should told this is the end, but I'm gonna put it in front. Okay, if you count this out, you got all together, you got 12 here. 4 times 12, or with the sun, you got 12 here together. This was talking about. This is the so-called ark, right? So that's Joseph right there. His 11 brothers. Those 11 brothers. See? So they're all from Jacob. Because remember the 2 Levites? Levi and Simon? See? There's brothers. So I know it's kind of hard to catch that one. See? But that's who Joseph is. And that's his 11 brothers. Let's see what they say about that. Now Joseph had a dream, and Joseph had all these dreams, so I'm going to break all these dreams down for you. See, like I said, I never could talk to this before because a lot of this background information you need, and I still going to have problematic to talk about it now, but most are not going to understand it. But it's primarily I'm speaking to Lazarus who's about to wake up. They don't understand. 144,000, they will understand it. Then Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, 11 brothers now, right? They hated him even more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream which I have had. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field." So they don't give a number because you already know the number. 11 brothers. He's talking to his brothers, right? See, people say, "Well, don't number there." Yeah, but you know the number is 11. "For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field. Behold, my sheaf stood up and also remained standing. Behold, your sheaves gathered around and bowed down." So all other sheaves bowed down to him. Then his brothers said to him, "Are you actually going to reign over us, or are you really going to rule over us?" So they hated him more for his dream, his words. So they hated him because he had a dream he's going to rule over all of them. And that's talking about the ark. So you need to see it this way, because when I go further, it's not going to. You put all these dreams together. So I'm putting it backwards. Right, but I'm putting it the way they show it in the scripture. But the way they really put this together, and once you put the puzzle together, this really should be at the end. So keep that in mind. I hope I'm not confusing anybody here. Then I had another dream. See, that's why we need to see that one first. Then he had yet another dream, and informed his brothers of it, and said, Behold, have yet another dream. And behold, the sun, moon, and the 11 stars were bowing down to me. And see, that's where you get confused, because it says, well, sun, moon, and 11 stars. You see? But it's the same dream when you get the interpretation, the same dream. So that means that's included in the 11. That's included in 11. And it said the sun, moon, and 11 stars. So the sun, moon, that was included in the 11. Remember, this is coded. Because that's why I had the first one. And you're going to see, I'm not showing all the, go read the script for yourself, because it keeps telling you that those dreams are the same dream. And you're going to see that when we go to his other dreams, right? Because they have a second dream, but it's referring to the first dream. And first, only 11 did it, so that means those two part 11. Remember, this is coded. You have to be very, that's why it took a long time to even talk about this, because you got to be very, I mean, all the puzzles are very difficult. This is one of the more difficult ones. And when you see, we get to the other parts, other dreams. He also told his father as well, to his brother, and his father rebuked him and said, Where's this dream that you have? Am I and your mother, your brothers going to get bow down to you? See how they do that? Your brothers, your mother, father, and your brothers, right? See? A brother actually are, and I, your mother, I and your mother, your brothers actually going to bow down to you, right? That's the whole 11. Because he said it'd be 11. So that means the brother, mother, and father is included in that 11, right? His father was just, his brother was just him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Okay, so that's the dream he's seeing. It's important because this dream here, this Joseph matter is very complicated, and it reveals some special things. Because every time you go in and break one of those scriptures down, it gives you more detail. Because you get a general picture, then it goes more to, like you say, oh, you got a map of New Jersey, but then you get another map with all the cities in New Jersey. You get another map with all the streets in New Jersey. More detail. Okay? Now this other dream he has when he's in prison. Now he's in prison. Now when Joseph's in prison, that means that's we in prison here now. See, that's another thing you understand about this. See, that's why Pharaoh kind of tries to say, oh, well, we're going to inherit the kingdom after. No. That's why it's a big lie. That's why I'm breaking this down now. Because I'm just putting a lie to everything that he says is a damn lie. So he's in prison now. And he has two dreams. There's two riddles in the prison. There's always two sets. That means they're all connected somehow. So the chief cupbearer told his dream, remember he's interpreting dreams, right? Saying to him, in my dream, behold, there was a vine in front of me, and the vine were 3 branches, and it was budding. Its blossom came out, and its clusters produced ripe grapes. Now Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, so I took the grapes and squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup. I put the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Then Joseph said to him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 more days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore to your office. If you put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, your form of practice will be when you were his cupbearer. Now I know it sounds complicated, see? But that's it was a vine with 3 branches. That's that part. The vine with 3 branches. Talking about the same thing again. The vine with 3 branches. But it's talking about a different perspective here. Vine with 3 branches. Okay? Let's go and move on. It gets very complicated. And then this other one had a dream. But he didn't work out so well. And when the chief baker saw that he had interpreted favorably, he said to Joseph, I also saw in my dream, and behold, there were 3 baskets of white bread on my head. And in the top basket there were some of all kinds of baked food for Pharaoh, and birds were eating them out of the basket on my head. Then Joseph answered and said, this is interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 more days, 3 days again, right? Pharaoh will lift up your head from you, cut your head off, right? And will hang you in a wooden post, and birds will eat your flesh off you. Now, I'm going to write detail about these things. I'm not going to all that. That's talking about those three demons. See, remember that was part. Let's back up. Do I show that? Maybe I show that here. I meant to. Let's see. No, I didn't. Okay, let's back up. Oops. Okay, that's my error. I showed it all together. So those familiar from ENIGMA would understand, but see the three demons there? Oh, man, back up. So you look at this. The demons were part of this. Three demons with that saint there. See, they were part of in the resurrection, but they was cast out. They didn't make it. These made it. They was restored, but the three demons were killed. See, I should have put the whole thing together so you can see it. I meant to do that, forgot. Again, I need to slow down. I'm trying to do so many things right now because stuff is hitting the fan, so I'm not making any excuses. But anyone that knows it, that would be all together, that would be 7. And that would be the resurrection, whole black nation, but the demons had to be cast out. So the resurrection all came together with those three would be there, but 3 was cast out. That's what he's talking about there. Okay. So I missed that one. I should have showed that. I'm not going to go and do it. I should stop and do it, but I'm not. Okay, Joseph's visions. Keep on. Let's go on with Joseph's visions. None of those visions he had. Now we had the vision of ark. That's why I say the ark is at the end of all of this. But I put it at the front because there's so much information there to help you understand the rest of this. Even though that's the way the order to have it in Scripture. The same order. Right? But for display reasons, right, you should put it back. But I said I kept it that order because it has so much information. Right? And you need the angel kid to see it. So what he sees here. See, now, this would be kind of difficult for some angel warriors because the angel people that understand the angel have some idea of the angel, right? Because they say, well, we know the Asian nation represent the cow. But you say, well, how's that on cows and everything else? Well, and we know, well, I'm going to leave it there. That's part of the puzzle. See? So you have to know a few things to understand this. So we're going to look at it this way, right? This is the rest of it. The African nation, Asian nation, Oriental nation, and European nation. Right? That's the three beasts. Right? Lion, calf, face of man, and flying eagle, false Israel. Now what does he says here? He says, now it happened at the end of the 2 full years. See, he had been in prison. Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile. See, actually, these are bad translations because he's saying they say Nile because that's part of the world. The translation should really be river, but really, it should be river. And behold, from the Nile 7 cows came up, fine looking and fat. See, that's the Asian nation, the brown ones there. And they grazed in the marsh grass. Then behold, 7 other cows came up after them from the Nile river, ugly and thin, and they stood by the other cows on the bank of the river. Then the ugly and thin cows ate the 7 fine cows, fine looking cows. So it says one of these is going to overtake the other one. See, those red cows is going to eat the brown cows, but it's not going to make any change to the red cows. What is that talking about? I'll bring it together in a minute. Then he had another dream. Let me keep having these 2 dreams. Why I keep doing at the same time? Right? The first one, right? 2 dreams of brothers. Then 2 dreams of the prisoners, now 2 dreams again. See, it's telling all this stuff is connected. Then Pharaoh awoke, but he fell asleep and dreamed a second time. Behold, 7 ears of grain came up on a single stalk. That's very important, but I don't know how to get you to catch that one. On a single stalk, plumping good. Then behold, 7 ears thin and scorched by the east wind sprouted after them. And the thin ears swallowed the 7 plump ears. Then Pharaoh rose, and behold, it was a dream. Now in the morning his spirit was troubled. He sent his messengers to call for the soothsayers, priests of Egypt, and all the wise men. I didn't mean to leave all that in. Pharaoh told him his dream, but there was no one who could interpret them the dream, except, Joseph comes to interpret it. So did I miss anything here? Hold on. Okay, I think I missed something. Anyway, I'm just going to explain it. Let me make sure here. Yeah. Let me just explain it. Okay. What's happening is, let me just back up. Yes, I need to slow down, brothers and sisters. What's happening here is, well, let's go back to the first one. No, leave it here. What's happening here is the ordination. Remember, it was a scorch. It was actually scorched by the east wind. Okay. That's the Orient nation. That's the goat in Daniel. That swallows up the European nation. Swallows them up. But that's why I put that first in there, because you see the top grain there? They're not swallowed up because they're in the ark. That's why I did that away. Because they said, well, wait a minute, they don't get swallowed up. Well, that's why they're in the ark. They didn't get swallowed up. But they swallow these up. Okay? And that's the goat that takes out European countries. And they had African countries with them. Before I could even talk about this, I had to talk about a lot of things to bring this about, because I had to explain how the African nation is connected with them, how they're going to be with them, how they're Levites, and whole 9 yards, how Obama has to play a part in there. That's a school, because this is happening when the 4 winds blow. So that's scorched by this was scorched by the east wind. We're talking about. So they come and they take out the European nations, take them out. Okay? See the time frame? Just before the ark. And then, now we understand angel, we know that the cows, India is actually with them. See? Remember, this is giving more detail. So it's telling what happened to each one individually. And then it says that Africa is going to take them out. But see, top one is not there because top one is in the ark, part of the ark. But they take them out. That's why I should ask first, so you don't get confused. They swallow them up. And it happened in the food, right? It says, and the cows swallowed the other ones. They ate them out. So when they do that, what's happened left? What you have left is the African nation, and you have the Oriental nation. Those two are left. So let's backtrack to understand this. The war starts in the Middle East. We're talking about the goat taking out America. Right? We know in Armageddon over there. But we're talking about the goat takes out the European countries. Right? Because they're in Armageddon, in Europe and whatever. Takes them out. That's what we're talking about. That's the flood. Right? And African nations with them is giving more detail about that story. Right? You see about the flood and everything? More detail. So it says that Oriental countries, they're going to take out the European countries. When I say take out Britain and so forth, take them out. Then and Asia would be with then that's the goat. But after that, right, I talk about that horn that takes out 3 by the roots, which talking about the goat and the ram. So the ram is gone. Then you have the goat, but he's taking out that part of the goat. He's taking out the. So Africa and Asia get into it. Africa takes them out. Okay. So the reason why I say it this way, because at that time, we're not talking about the war of the latter days. So at that time, because the way I explained it earlier, is that they take out European countries, and then I said then they go to war with Africa, and Africa takes them out, and then they come against us. So let's give them more detail. There's still the same thing happens that way. It's just explain it in more detail. So it says, okay, they're going to take out European countries, ma'am. Then Africa goes to war with Asian countries first. And now it's just Africa and the Oriental countries. See? That's what at the time that the ark takes place. In other words, before, well, during that time, because that's that time that we move back to home, the Middle East, and then we take control of it. That's the time frame it's talking about here. See? So they tell you, see, because that's why I see the ark, because they're telling you that Joe's going to inherit America. See, because they don't understand how this parable works. So here, like I said, Joseph made ruler of Egypt. And that's what they're going by. That's not what it's saying at all. What's going on here? Okay. Then Joseph said to his servants, can we find a man like this? In other words, he's given the kingdom. The same thing happens in Daniel, Belshazzar. Made third ruler in the kingdom. You understand what that means? And he's given his gold necklace. See? And he's put a gold necklace around his neck. I don't know if you can see. It says, let me read this. Then Pharaoh took off his signet ring from his hand, put on Joseph's hand, and clothed him in a garment of fine linen, and put the gold necklace around his neck. He needs no fine linen, but the gold necklace, that's the original nation, because that's the elect. The same one, see, around his neck. Same thing says in Daniel. He gets a gold necklace around his neck. That means it's 2 stories the same. But it's 2 paths. Which one actually happens? See? So, remember, after Joseph comes out of prison, when I said the prison was actually the Holocaust. Now, after all this, you read about how Joseph's descendants, right, end up in prison in Egypt, and 400 years and everything else. And so you think that's happening after this, but no. That is this happening after Joseph comes out of prison. Well, let me say that I might have said it wrong. Joseph come out of prison, this stuff he's talking about here, is after the Holocaust. He's coming out of prison. That's when he made ruler. He come out of prison after the Holocaust, right? And we always see America's gone. So how do he be ruler of America? So that's talking about that Egypt in that sense. Because we see he's a son over in the Middle East. So that's the thing they're trying to get you to, oh, well, see, it says here he's going to be ruler in Egypt. What the hell understand what they're talking about? So if they're going to tell you that, then tell them to break down those riddles then. They should support what they're saying. Because I just broke them down for you. Now you don't understand them. Most you probably don't understand them. So you can study them, but you never heard anybody else break them down. They have no idea what they mean. I just told you exactly what they mean. Because it's giving you a time frame there. So in other words, at time, we're in the ark, we're back home, right? Europe has been taken out, Asia's been taken out. Now you got the 2 powers, right? And they don't show here. They go against each other because Africa takes them out. That's put down 3 horns. You have to understand Daniel, because it's not giving that type of detail. It's just giving you a structure of where to be. In other words, when we go home, right, that means you have 3 world powers. That's a he be one of the powers, he be one of the kings of king. That's why it's, so it says here, I know it says in Daniel. Let me see if I see it here. It said, and since one there's I think you over the land here. You say, if you say the good hand, those who cause fire have go over that kind of leave out that place land. You can say, Joe, pick no and forever. Okay, it does say here, I'm not sure a little further down, but it does say it in Daniel. He's the third of the kingdom. So it was because the kingdom, we're talking Egypt, that's the whole world at the time, right? But there's 3, right? There's 3 kingdoms at that time. There's us in the ark, there's the African kingdom, and there's a China. That's why I said the 3. Those 3 kingdoms will exist when we go home. Because the other ones were taken out. So then they don't go against each other. Those 2 kingdoms go against each other. And then finally, the last one, Africa was going to rule. That's that horn, little horn in Daniel. That's when it attacks us. But it doesn't talk about that here. All it talks about is the structure. It tells you, it puts everything in perspective. We went to the Holocaust. Then Daniel, Joseph takes charge of the original nation. He delivers them home. He's in charge. See? His 11 brothers. But remember, he gives the kingdom to Master Muhammad. That's the Ancient of Days. But at this point in time, right, he's in charge. So who he is. Africa is empowered. China's empowered. India's gone. Europe is gone. That's what's trying to tell you there. And then those 2 go at it. There's only 2 powers left. Esau and Jacob. Esau and Jacob. Only 2 powers left. Africa and the nation. And that's what it says. War a lot of days where it says at peace because they're jealous. Because they said they should get their birthright. They said we stole the birthright from them because they should be the birthright. And they said they'll attack us, and that's the final war. It doesn't go into that kind of detail here. But the reason I'm explaining this is to show you that that's what they're trying to fall back on and say, oh, well, see, Joe's going to inherit the kingdom. We're going to inherit America. We're going to inherit the land we used to be enslaved in. That's not what it's saying at all. It looks like that on the surface. There's that sealed Bible, boy, it's something. So let's go a little further here. Elijah's failure. I'm about to lose my voice, but says I forgot to bring something over here. Yeah. So we almost finished anyway. Elijah's failure. Now I love Elijah. He's a Levite. I love him. Okay. But he failed in his mission. Because it tells you here. Because we see him in the ark over there, but what does it say here? This is what it says here. Because remember, he was supposed to pass the baton to Suleiman or Joshua. He didn't. He left it to Aaron, the demon, and the demon took over. Because right now we live in a demon hemisphere. This whole hemisphere is demons and devils. Against 17 million of us. A billion people or more. This is demon. I spent 3 years on Demon Island. This demon and devil hemisphere. Now Moses summoned Joshua and said to him in sight of all Israel. And they're talking about Levites here and Israel. That's why it's 2 different things. Be strong and be courageous, for you shall go with this people into the land that the Lord has sworn to their fathers to give them. He shall put them in possession of it. So he said, we're going home. He ain't talking to Aaron, he's talking to Joshua, which is also known name for Jesus. It is the Lord who goes before you. He be with you. That's Master Muhammad. He will go before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. Do not fear or be dismayed. Tell Master Muhammad there. See? So it's been passed to Joshua, not Lion Aaron Farrakhan. Let's look at this. Look at this real carefully. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, you are about to lie down with your fathers. He's about to die. Then his people will rise and whore after the foreign gods. But he's not talking about him actually dying. He's talking about him been departing. It says his people. He says his people. He's talking about Levites because Elijah is a Levite. So you got to read this carefully. You can't assume he's talking about Israel. He's talking about the Levites. That's why you got to be careful, these Levites. See? Behold, then his people rise and whore after foreign gods among them in land that they are entering, and they will forsake me and break my covenant that I've made with them. That's what they're doing right now. They break the covenant. The covenants go home. They say we ain't going nowhere. See? And they forsake Master Muhammad, this God that make big babies in everybody's womb. That's exactly what they're doing. That's not Master Muhammad. He making babies in everybody's womb and giving you eyes and all that stuff. Well, who made Master Muhammad then? Who gave him his eyes? Then my anger will be kindled against them in that day. I will forsake them, hide my face from them, and they will be devoured. That's who I talk to. He's going to devour them. Hide his face from them. He don't be bothered with. He don't really bother with them. See? He doesn't really bother with them. This is not Master Muhammad talking. This is say Suleiman talking. And many evil and trouble come upon them, so that they will say in that day, have not these evils come upon me, because our God is not among us? And I will surely hide my face in the day, because all evil that they have done, because they have turned to other gods. So that's why we bother with them. I'm through with them. Number trouble. That's what it says right here. It says, in the land they're entering. It didn't say the land they was going to entering, so you got to be that carefully. So, oh man, that means, what does that mean? They put it in context. Because, remember, Israel is going on. True Israel. Then it says, and Moses had finished writing the words for this law in the book to the very end. Moses commanded the Levites now, who carried the ark. Remember, ark is upon them, of the covenant of the Lord. Take this book of the law and put it in by the side of the ark of the covenant, your God, that it may be therefore a witness against it. Because remember, the Levites were on the bottom of the ark. For I know how rebellious and stubborn you are. Behold, even today, while I am yet alive with you, you have been rebellious against the Lord. While he was even here, he had problems with the Levites. When he was even with them. How much more after my death, after I'm gone? How much problems are going to be? Remember, Malcolm and all that stuff? How much more is going to be after his death? You're not talking about, right? And similar to me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak the words in their ears and call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death you will surely act corruptly. Remember it says, they would act corruptly. It says, because Aaron had corrupted them. See? The demons. For I know that after my death you will surely act corruptly and turn aside from the way I have commanded you. Tell my Levites again, they ain't doing anything Elijah Muhammad taught them trying. They still follow Elijah Muhammad. It's not even anybody that knows anything about it, no, they're not doing that. That's a big lie. And in the days to come will befall you, because you will do what is evil inside the Lord, provoke him to anger through the works of your hands. See, who's the hands? If you understand the angel, right? Farrakhan's one of the hands, ain't he? It's right there, brothers and sisters. You got to put it in perspective. Now, what's this saying? That very day, the Lord spoke to Moses. Go up this mountain of Abraham, Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, opposite Jericho, and view the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the people of Israel. Israel, not the Levites, for a possession. So they didn't say, when they say entering, they weren't talking about the Levites, talking about Israel. So entering, every time I talking about America still here. And die on the mountain which you go up, and begat your people as Aaron your brother died in Mount Horeb. See, he was already dead, Aaron, and was gathered to his people. he was gathered right to his demons. See? So in other words, he put them aside. Remember, he says, remember, they put him in brothers. So how we says his people, why it says distinguish between Elijah's people and Aaron's people? He gathered your people as Aaron, your brother, they call them brothers, right? And was gathered to his people. So if they're brothers, then why didn't I say same people? Because you broke faith with me in the midst of the people of Israel. See, at the words of Merodach Hazar and the words of Zin, because you did not treat me as holy in the midst of the people of Israel. Because you did not take and pass the baton. You take and explain to people who Suleiman was. See? For you treat me as holy. Remember, he's Suleiman. That's the one right there. Because you say things like, be careful what you say and who you say it to, because Allah is amongst you, but he never pointed out who that was. He never did it. I used to ask the old timers, why are you saying that? Why is he saying be careful what you say and who you say it to? He had the minister say it all the time, because Allah is amongst you. So he says Suleiman was amongst them, but he never pointed out who Suleiman was. See? In the midst, for you shall see the land before you, but you shall not go there into the land I am giving to the people of Israel. See? So remember, the Levites, they were someplace else. He's given to Israel, not the Levites. So he was forbidden to go because he hadn't passed the baton. So we got two situations. We got one situation says he get to the hereafter, and one says he don't. It was conditional. See? So basically, that's all up to Suleiman because he's got the book of life. So conditional. Because he can't be both. He says he can't go, another one says he's there. Instead of the church, it says he's there. So it can't be both. And that was his failure. Because by making that failure, everything he built was lost. Everything Muhammad did was lost. Because he failed to point out who Suleiman was, the messenger of the covenant. He was there. Right? See, you broke faith in me in the midst of the people. That way, he was there right in the midst of the people, but he didn't broke faith with him. He didn't say, that's him. That's the one right there. Because Suleiman would never let the demons get anywhere near the Nation of Islam. He threw their ass out right away because he was already against Farrakhan from Jump Street. Knew who he was. That's what the story is right there, brothers and sisters. So you can take it, whatever you deal with it, whatever you want to do. That's the story. I broke it down for you. It's there for you to study. So he says they're going to the land of Israel, not staying here. See? So we'll stay in the land of our imprisonment. Elijah Muhammad even said that. We're fools who want to stay in the land of our imprisonment. So I had to break this down for you, brothers and sisters. Like I said, this is his foundation by Joseph's story. I'm just showing it doesn't mean anything like he's telling you. And even if you go along with what he's saying, tell him to explain the rest of it to back that up. So I think that's pretty much it, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it. There's a lot more to talk about this, but I'm not going to go anymore. I've lost my voice pretty much. And there's a lot more I can explain on this. But I think that's enough for anybody that's willing to understand it or think about it. I think that's enough. I'm leaving it there, brothers and sisters. So let's see here and make sure. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.